Hello. Welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate and Stuff. Can you guys hear me? Because John is apparently having some technical problems today.
I was scrolling Facebook before this, and I was just literally watching this thing on American Made Income or whatever this post is. And I'm not going to name names, but bro, they're roasting him in the comments. The guy's out there. It's two dudes. One of them super overweight, and he's got you just see his gun on his hip, right? He's got a Glock on his hip, and he's just talking about how you could buy rentals with no money down, and getting Section 8 is the best way to do it, and it's not a problem. People are just roasting this guy in the comments, and Facebook is ruthless, bro. It's just
roasting him as in don't do it, or just making fun of him, or is it the real estate, or
making fun of that he's pregnant, that he has a gun on his hip, wearing tight shorts, and that he's selling a course and telling you could buy rentals with no money down. Just you pick one of them. It's just wild, dude.
Like the Arnold Schwarzenegger
internet is
movie.
A mean place.
The internet is wild.
It
so
is.
What's going on, guys? Listen, like and subscribe. Right,
250 is our goal.
Well, we might have some new followers after the panel yesterday, which got really, really good rave reviews from the panelists. Even the Carrot team just now on the meeting was really talking it up. So that was a lot of fun. Have some demos scheduled and maybe some new followers.
Yeah, we're at 105 right now. I'd have to see on the admin page if we had any recent from yesterday, but I was giving away my credibility kit for anybody who subscribed and followed. So I haven't had any requests yet.
How did that panel go? I did not get to watch it live, but you guys have fun?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Carlos?
I think it went well. Yeah, I went well. I reached out to everybody individually too. They all said it went well. Jock said it. He said it went well, or better than he even expected. He said, but it was good. We had good engagement. I mean, 65 people I think was the most people on, and
I have
through an hour. I think we still had 45. Everybody was taking notes, and so I'll give you this, John. Good to see you, by the way.
You too, sir. I've been gone most of this week, so I haven't seen anybody.
I'll give kind of the business answer, and then I'll give more of a qualitative answer. So the engagement was really good. I think the top number we had was 65 people on. Brady after and through Slack, we're talking about a little bit, but above average engagement as far as people staying on after the 1 hour mark. It went over 2 hours. I think it maybe went 2 hours and 8 minutes or 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Good God.
Know when I'm on something, I just keep going, baby.
But also, I'm not going to cut it off if there are still people on there. Until the very last, there was 30 people on there.
Okay.
So it's
I would have went for another hour.
Yeah, I could have went longer too. I may have gotten a drink or some coffee or something, but I would have chilled in there. So engagement was really, really good. Maybe my favorite qualitative thing is that there were high level people on there. Like Sergio, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's in Arizona. He sends us a bunch of customers. He's an awesome guy, but he does a ton of deals a month, 20, 30 plus deals a month in Arizona. And he was on there, same thing, taking notes. On his birthday, actually. Shout out Sergio. I know I texted you yesterday for your birthday, but the dude on his birthday is watching a panel and taking notes. I really appreciate that. Jock's team was taking notes. I still had to email a couple people, actually, that asked for the replay.
It's
pretty cool how they did
Tyler Ford cheated. He had his cousin in the chats asking him specific
questions. Do we know
if
it was him or not?
No, I'm just saying, if I knew that was possible, I would have had all my VAs log in, watch the show, and just strategically leave me questions so I could be the star of the show. I didn't know that was allowed. Next time you ask me to be on a panel, my entire team is just going to be funny. Just discreetly in the comments asking Brandon questions. This question's for Brandon.
Yeah, I don't know if that was his cousin or not. I don't know with certainty.
We were making fun of somebody because somebody with the last name was asking Tyler Ford questions, and I made the comment is this an inside job? Do you have your family asking you questions? And then the guy must have picked up on the joke and then called him cuz, as in cousin. Jock picked up on it, and then we were roasting him.
That was funny.
But I picked up on a lot of stuff, and one of the key things, I thought Paul was pretty good, and we can kind of touch on it, but Obviously, my dog has to start barking at the exact moment.
Barely here. You're good.
Chuck, a couple of the things was not just the PPL, right? I thought that was cool, but Paul was really talking about like once you get these leads in, the following up with direct mail essentially, which I thought was key, which is so Investor Fuse has, I'm assuming, API integration in like Print Genie is what he was talking about.
Yep.
So like with direct mail, it's always that cost thing, right? And then like people are always talking about, well, I have a whole bunch of these on my desk type of thing. And Paul was kind of expressing how the difference is that's more of what am I trying to say? That's more of cold direct mailing. But once I talk to you and then I send you this warm direct mail piece where you recognize who I am, a little different there. And he says they get good engagement back because it's more of a follow-up piece. Kind of like after an interview, right? What do you do after you interview for a job? What do you do after you meet someone? You send them a thank you letter.
Yeah, like that physical representation of a virtual connection, especially like if you're not meeting these people in person during an appointment. I think that can go a long ways. Oh yeah, this guy. I talked to him. Now he's here in my hand.
I recognize, and that's kind of how like in our business we do our follow-ups, right? Using our notes and something personal in it when we do our follow-up calls, so they recognize that we're somebody of value that they have talked to before. But then also kind of went hand in hand where we talked about credibility kits. Tyler was really interesting with that in his. But like even that, and I know we've talked about it on the show before about like having an automation and Investor Fuse to send something like think about it. You send after your initial call or talking to, you send a direct mail piece automated, and then after you accept an offer, right, or even make an offer, like a credibility kit goes out. Like that's pretty powerful.
I was just thinking. Sorry to interrupt you there, Coast. I've been doing a lot of planning for sprints, so development work, and so we just wrapped up our analytics sprint. So if you guys would like a sneak preview of what's coming to Investor Fuse next week, I can certainly show you here.
Be on the inside knowledge of things, even if I don't, if I'm old school in how I run my stuff.
But so we have an AI sprint coming up later this year where we're working on AI and sequences. And as you were saying that, I was like, wouldn't it be amazing if like AI was going through, like looking at the notes that you took, or even able to listen to conversations, and then write a letter, handwrite it out in Justin Dossie's fancy robots, and then mail it to them. Like that would be.
Well, that's kind of Tyler was talking about that with like he calls them one-ups, which kind of fits more my personality, where he has a bunch of templates given a certain situation, and then he kind of edits them based on the conversation that he has with the person to make that follow-up sequence or message more, more personalized for that situation. I mean, honestly, like if anyone's listening, I don't know, Carlos, is there a link? Is there a link that somebody could get that? Because I thought there. I mean, it was
give me a hot second. I'll send it.
Yeah, and then John can post like a QR code or something for anybody watching. We need to share that link because it was 3 different styles of running a business. Like everyone did something different, so they had a little bit of different input on how they handle follow-ups. When I was completely different than the other 2, and Tyler runs his business completely different. I keep trying to call him Tom Ford, but Tom Ford isn't that the clothing designer, Tom Ford?
Mm-hmm.
No, I always misses.
I like how they did that. I sent the chat or the link through in the Restream chat, but I kind of like how they do that too. Like when they marketed the event, it's just that link, and then it also just stays that link. So if you can't attend live or whatever, you just want to rewatch it, it just stays on that link. YouTube embedded on that page.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
It sounds like we'll probably doing some more.
There you go. John just screwed up.
Some more of those. Nice.
Yeah. I wanted to dive deeper. Where is it?
I was gonna say too, really quick. I know we talked about a lot of stuff, and definitely people were taking notes, and I love that. Obviously want to help out everybody. Typically, those calls are probably more so aimed towards more beginners or maybe medium. But I thought it was encouraging that even if high level people are like taking notes and like bring it back to their team, then it's, you know, useful for anybody listening to it. And I think it was pretty high level because we were talking about like managing teams and, you know, hiring and everything like that. So I think it was a pretty high level conversation. One of the things that I liked, and I brought it up even in a CS meeting today with somebody for their sequences, and I guess it's more so just philosophy of Jock talking about kind of getting in front of establishing credibility with the sellers, how he sends them like links to, and that was like around the PPL where it's like the marketing is from a different company and then it comes over him. But I think that applies for all marketing.
I think a lot of that came from Paul, though. I think a lot of that came from Paul DeCampo, like because he hired him to work on their sequences and follow-ups and everything.
Yes,
yeah. I think that came a lot from Paul's strategy of like just we'll call it consulting. A coach and a consultant are completely different, and I don't feel like Paul's a coach. He sounds more like a follow-up consultant style stuff.
He might have got a sale yesterday too. Somebody using InvestorFuse, a solar person using InvestorFuse that closed 16 deals.
I know.
He said, I guess I need to sign up for Paul. He said,
I know. If I knew I was
sick deal.
Bro, if I knew I was allowed to sell stuff, I would have been selling TED. You know, I would have been selling our software system TED that I've been working on. No, what was the other thing, Carlos? I have it written down. So one of the things, it was kind of like, so I thought it was unique because Jock, he didn't come out and say it, but it was more like it took him a while, and it took me a while too, right? That's why I kind of respected it. It takes a while to go from the mindset of quantity of team, quantity of calls, quantity of leads, because that's what you feel you need to do not only to make money, but to exist, right? To have credibility, to kind of like not scale back, but become more efficient. And as a result of efficiency, you almost kind of at the same time scale back, right? They go one and the same, but the intention is to become efficient. As you become efficient, you scale back. And he was talking about like how he scaled back his team and now everybody does more. And even he himself, he said he took it from me because I'm always on the phone doing stuff. And I learned from the mistake of not being on the phone with my team. Yeah. And it's the same thing. I thought that was a big step for a lot of people to understand that you don't need to generate 100 leads a week in SMS or cold call to make money. You don't need to do 20 deals a month to be satisfied with what you're doing. And if you focus on the quality of it, sometimes you can wind up making more. I've been at it where like we were having 6-figure months, but we were also overspending, spending 60, 70 grand a month. And then you're only making like $30,000, if that, sometimes all said and done. And you say to yourself like, wow, I just busted my ass closing all these deals and I only walked away with the equivalent of one assignment fee because you're not operating lean and efficient. Whereas if you instead you took down that many and if you walked away with 70,000 of that, like it'd feel a lot better. So that efficiency, I thought, is something that like I feel like we should almost have a whole episode and maybe bring some people on about how they feel about that. Now there are some big operations, right, that can scale and still stay.
Well, it's that word scale, right? Like I think there's
addicting.
Yeah, and people like when they hear the word scale, they associate it with people they've seen on, you know, stage at these events and at masterminds and on YouTube or whatever. And they're talking, I scaled and I've got, you know, a room full of closers and we're doing so much, you know, X amount of deals. So like in people like a rat race almost, right? Like people feel like in order for me to feel like I am a successful, you know, person in this industry and can, you know, stand up with the crowd, I therefore must scale to this level. But you know, that's not always efficient. And, you know, we've met people through our whole career who are like just super efficient and super dialed in. And it's like, they're not looking for scale. And I think there's something like awesome about that.
Just do the math. And we've done it on this show before. And like, we didn't dive into numbers. And I hate when panels and stuff dive into like how much people make, because it gives a false perception of the work and the effort that goes into just dollar amounts. Right. But if if you're running an operation that's not necessarily lean, and let's be honest, the bigger you get, there's a point where it's not economies of scale. Economies of scale come after a tipping point of efficiency. And initially, you're just hiring and trying to get better. And so your profit margin may only be 20%, 30%, right? But when you're smaller, I mean, when I was on my own, man, my profit margin was like 70%. You know, like it was me keeping 70 to 80% of my money and really only spending marketing money in like a couple of things of software and one person on my team that helped me. And I was keeping like 70% of the money. So, yeah, you would have to do a lot more deals to make as much as me. You would have to do, if I made $100,000, I was keeping $70,000.
Yeah, that's like double of a healthy business.
Yeah, you would have to make $300,000 to make even close to equivalent what I netted, and to hit $300,000, you're doing, let's just say, what? 20 deals, 15. You got to do 15 deals a month at a decent assignment fee every single, and in order to do 15 deals, now you're talking TCs. You're talking in 1 or 2 dispo people to push that many. You're talking about people to help your dispo team out to find the buyers. So you got more VAs now. So to push 15 deals versus at 20K, what is that, 20K a pop, versus me maybe only having to push 5 deals a month with me, one person, like a VA, and that's it. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to ask yourself what's better. And that's where, and I'm not saying that's what Jock's doing. He has a bigger team, but I thought it was pretty awesome that he came to that realization and he's trying to focus more on efficiency with his team. And I think more people should do that. Sorry.
I think some people have been forced in, a lot of people have been forced into that potentially.
Yeah.
Just this year with less deals being moved and, you know, a harder time in general for wholesalers, or them getting hit by the market. I think the ones that have had success have kind of forced to scale down, I guess is a potential term.
And I mean, we operate a lot more lean, and like, I know we're taking down, you know, mobile home park, and so that's a little different, but we still get paid on that. And there's a thing, like, as I listen to these podcasts, these guys talk about how they get, so in wholesaling, it's called assignment fee. In like syndication, it's called acquisition fee. Like, you get paid to acquire a property. And like, so I don't have any sales reps. I don't have anybody. I literally do everything myself. My wife runs it. So we keep, I'm going to make this up, 98% of that. Maybe the other 2% was on the data that I spent and like my smartphone dialer and, you know, my investor fuse to manage my leads. You know what I mean? Like, to scale that, hire a salesperson, commission, salary, another seat on investor fuse, more data to keep him busy, another seat on smartphone. He's got to make money, so I got to pay him a decent salary to keep him, because you don't get 15 mobile home park deals in a month, right? It's a slower thing. So now, like, instead of keeping $100,000, like 95 of 100, I'm now keeping 40, 50, and like, you have to, and it's what works for everybody. But then you have these large teams like Nick Perry, right? Mm-hmm. Jennifer or Tiffany and Josh High, right?
Jennifer.
I come up with names. When you have as many kids as I do, you just start spouting fucking names. And like, that was one of my kids' names, and like, my names are all rattled in my head. Big operations, but they also reached this point past that tipping point, where now they start to become, they have economies of scale and they become more efficient the bigger they get. So their costs get reduced. And it's like climbing Mount Everest and getting to the other side.
I also think personnel like is key to those, like, let's call them the few stallions in, you know, the wholesaling space that we see. Like, you know, I mean, I intricately know Nick Perry's team, and they have several people on that team that are top-notch quality people.
Well, Brandon's one of them.
Yeah, Brandon's one of them. Kyler's one of them.
Yeah.
Brandon's have a good track record of being top-notch sales.
But yeah, but you got to find that person, right? But Nick pays that guy very good. He pays all of his team good money, from my understanding. Yeah. And if you're not doing the volume to support that, right? So you got to get to that other side.
Yeah, and it's hard too, though. Like if you're like, okay, I'm gonna start scaling, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go hire a bunch of people. You can't just like hire anybody. Like you got to understand that those teams scaled to the point that they did because they found rock stars. And maybe it was a case of like they were on the backs of themselves. So like Nick did a lot of acquisitions at the very beginning, and he was able to get the money in the bank to then go find and keep those rock stars.
He saved his money.
Exactly.
He reinvested in his business, and that's a big thing. Like the other thing was like, it's not just, it was about actually being in the, so there's that big conception of work on your business, don't be in your business. And one of the people that I think is great at this is Pace Morby, right? Like I always think back to like when people said he shouldn't be out, like he told the story about how, oh, you shouldn't be out looking at properties, right? Like you can't scale your business doing that. And he's like, this is what I love to do. I love to be out in the field. And he hired the team to do all the other stuff working on the business, right? He has some great ladies that run his business, but he's out in the field looking at the properties, meeting students, negotiating deals on the phone. You know what I mean? And he gets a lot of respect for that. And I think too much, there's the couple people who literally want to step away from their business and just let it be. And so we were talking about how like getting back to actually being in your business side by side with your team and letting them see that you're doing the work with them. And again, that scales too. Like you have to, like if you stay at a certain size, you need to be in the business. If your dream is to operate large, then you better have the money to pay the people to be in the business and belly to belly with your team. There's like that fine line. Me personally, I love to be on the phones. Like I get energy from negotiating a deal, or I love, like I'm going up to Georgia to look at that. I get excitement to do that. I don't want to hire someone to do that. I don't know how old I'll be doing that. That's just like what I love to do.
You're just going to change how you get there. You're going to be flying on your private jet to go.
I'm looking at RVs right now. I'm looking at like.
So you could be like take one up there and stay.
Oh, take one up there and stay. We're thinking about renting one for Thanksgiving to head up north, and like as a family trip, because we have a big family at this point and we don't fit in a van. So like I was like, man, like we could just take this RV to the park it, because there's an RV side to it, park there, stay in the park. And I was like, we could just rent one and see what it's like. And they're not that expensive. They're only like $150 a night to rent a giant.
Where are you looking to rent? Because I haven't looked that hard.
You go to, I know we're getting way off topic, but RVshare.com. It's like a Turo.
So it's like Airbnb
it's like Airbnb or Turo for the RV, and it's just like somebody here in Lakeland or Tampa, Orlando that has an RV sitting in their thing. They charge you. The key is to find one with unlimited miles, and there was another thing, unlimited miles and something else.
You're looking for one
you generator. Yeah, like I'm looking at like, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about a 30-some footer. It's got to sleep like 7 fucking people. I need bunk beds. So like I'm looking. I need bunk beds for 2 older kids. I need beds. Like I need like seats for them to sit in and stay buckled. So like, and those are like $150 to $200. The nice ones with unlimited everything. That's not bad.
It's not bad for like something that you're driving and sleeping in and can cook in. And
so you automatically cancel out hotel and fast food.
Yeah.
So like it starts, the gas is what kills you, because these things get 8 miles to the gallon. I was doing research.
Holy crap.
8 miles to the gallon.
It's like a Hummer.
But that's kind of like the journey that my wife and I have decided we want to go on, is like as we're buying these parks, is to be able to travel to them and something like that. I don't ever want to get out of
beneficial for you guys to like roll up and be there for a week and do what you need to do and move on to your next one.
Yeah, that's cool. Sweet. Good memories as a kid rolling around in an RV.
I've never done it.
The longest trip was Baltimore to Disneyland or Disney World, I guess, in Orlando. So we had like beds, TV. That was good times.
Nice.
Did you hear what Disney World's doing? Fucking bullshit, dude. Okay, it's 2023, mind you. Fucking hate Disney, dude. This is why I just feel like they're like Bud Light, bro. Like they're now requiring COVID passports to get in, and if you don't have one, they either kick you out on the spot and you can't get in, or you have to pay for and take a COVID test on site, and they're charging $15 to $20 for the test. And like, there's an article written about it where they're looking at it as another revenue stream, because if you bring your whole family there and you're at the gates and your only thing you could do every day is to show that you're either vaccinated or you have a negative test, are you not going to pay the $15 to $20 every single day to be able to show that you're negative on a COVID test?
That has to be the one in California, right?
You know, I always get them mixed up, so don't quote me on what one that is. I automatically assume Disney World. I'm not, like, Disneyland to me doesn't exist. I don't know
Disneyland, I'm pretty sure, is in California, and the biggest one is Disney World in Orlando.
But why would you go to Disneyland when there's Disney World? Like, why am I going to like, how nice is that? I've never been there.
Just for the people that are in California, that's probably most appealing to. Like, yeah, if you live like if you live somewhere in the center or East Coast, you're going to go to the Orlando
We should continue the fucking border wall up the coast of fucking Mexico and straight along the state line of California and section that whole fucking thing off.
They might. Maybe they'll secede. Is that the right term?
How could they do it? They can't support themselves. There's nobody. This is not Texas we're talking about.
I gotta fact check this because I can't find this anywhere. Where did you hear about this?
Brad, do you need me to send you an article?
I'm literally searching like Disneyland, Disney World requiring COVID vaccine, and nothing's coming up. All I'm getting is news articles from like half a year ago. I mean, because that's stupid. Like, I can't, and it was funny because we just moved and Shannon found our like COVID passport things like we've used once for one concert, and the ink is like you can't even read it anymore. And it's like they didn't intend for these things to be permanent. Like, you can't even read what it says anymore. So I'm like, who even knows where those things are?
I'm gonna find it.
Funny.
I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
I look forward to seeing it.
And just so we know, my source is a link from Instagram to an article. So, you know.
Excellent. Send me that article. I'm curious because, like,
I think it's in my send thing from to Brittany. I'll find it.
What's going on in the world the last week? Is there more COVID stuff going on? New strains or anything like that? I don't even know.
Right now, old man Biden is trying to send $106 billion to. You know what I was thinking, and this is crazy, but do you know how, like, whenever you get to like check out and they say, do you want to donate $1 to save an animal? Do you want to donate $1 to autism and all this stuff? I feel like when we fill out our taxes, we should be able to check boxes of like what we want our money, like to pay for better government, to pay for, you know, higher pay for teachers and for police and for firemen and to any natural disaster support. And that's what I want. And like other people, like, I want to pay my money to other countries and pay Ukraine's healthcare. And like, you should be able to pick where your tax dollars, like, I feel like there should be a system where I select what programs of government assistance my tax dollars go to. Somebody needs to run. But no, but so if that's the case, then I go back to what I posted before. I should only pay taxes if my guy wins, and you should pay taxes if your guy wins, and then we'll start to see how many people vote for some crazy people. I just think it's wild that we don't have a say as to where our money goes.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing against you.
$106 billion. Like, where is this fucking money coming from?
Have you heard some of the stats about like how much money we have to pay on the interest of the debt now? And it's like
crazy.
It's nuts.
It's
like not even a real. It's just like not even a real.
Right. I look at it and I just like my heart starts to go faster. I'm like, what does this mean for my kids to like live in like? This is obviously not good. Like, everybody knows, like, this is not good.
It's not good, man. And it's like we're printing money 50%. We get taxed at like a tax rate of like a real tax rate of 50% when you calculate federal and sales tax and all these things come together. 50% of our income. We're the hardest working people because we work to support other countries. Like, that's my biggest problem is like, you want to tax me on my real estate holdings, or get upset and all this stuff if I don't pay my share of taxes. Well, you know what I mean? Like, where's my money going? So we pay for. Do you think Saudi Arabia is sending us money? Or
right.
Iran or Israel or Ukraine or Russia? No one's sending us money. they would probably be happy if something happened to us, and they'd be like, "Big bad U.S., let them fall."
Mm-hmm.
And that's my problem. Is like, where's our money going? Like 50% of what you make every year, and it doesn't go to your kid's teacher. Like, teachers should be paid more. Firemen, policemen, like that $106 billion
I don't even want
could
to
do
get
some
started
stuff.
on like our budget. I can't even believe how much of our military budget astounds me.
Listen, bro, I'm not upset about the military budget. Like if I'm gonna spend some money on being the baddest country ever, and listen, some of these countries are gonna find out about why we don't have free healthcare. They're gonna find out when they start getting some jets flying overhead, and they're like, freedom, baby, freedom.
But still, like, I feel like if you took 5% of the military budget, I'm sure they'd be fine, and we'd still be just as defensive. And you put that straight into education, like how much?
I bet you would have more money if you took 100% of what we send to other countries and put that into education.
Yes.
We could have both, bro. We could have what you want and the badass military, and you know who wouldn't have what they want? Every other country in the world, but that'd be okay because we're focusing on being the best version of us. And it's crazy, and Carlos would agree with me, even if he doesn't agree maybe politically or not. I don't know your stance, but there's a saying, as a human, you need to pour into yourself before you pour into people, because you cannot pour from an empty glass. And I feel like the U.S. is pouring from a glass with a hole in the bottom. It's just like there's nothing there, bro.
Right, yeah, the money is just so made up now that it's like not even it's just not even like a real.
It's almost you laugh when you see a nut. Like we have Bloomberg, and so I made a post because Israel was requesting $10 billion this morning. No shit, I'm walking out the office to go to the gym, and we keep a TV on Bloomberg, and I look up and it said Biden has requested $106 billion for aid to Israel or whatever. I laughed and shook my head because that's what I thought. I was like, it's monopoly money at this point. It's a joke. Like,
it really is.
Where does it come from?
It's just made up numbers. Yeah, I'm not educated enough to give an opinion, but I mean, it's hard for us to keep giving money out if we're in such a debt. I'm curious though for that equation, like if we did that route though, like if we just stopped supporting any of the like our allies when they're in war, would that eventually mean that we need more money put into our own military? Like if those other countries aren't our allies, and that would be a down the line thing. And we're talking hypothetical here, but it's interesting how like allocating different money and resources might affect different things.
We should be bring on a world.
It's a fine line between what an ally really is. And, I always say, and again, I don't have any political expertise, but I relate it back to like business and personal. An ally to me is somebody I get mutual benefit from. And if I'm in need, they come to me. And if they're in need, I come to them. If anybody wants to fact check me on the last time Ukraine came to our need or Israel was like, yo, let me help out the US, I would love to hear it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think that's, I'm not knowledgeable at all on any of this, but I don't think that that's the play here. I think the play here.
There's a whole other play going on. Right. I'm sure it has to do with the U.S. dollar's power in the Middle East. I'm sure it has to do with oil. I'm sure it has to do with the Russia, China. Who knows what's going on over there? We don't know half of it. I'm just saying, I think that if we had little check boxes underneath every year on our federal taxes of where this money gets applied to, think about it. It's like, even as like if you donate money somewhere, like if you donate money to a hospital, you get to apply those funds to where they can't use it for operations because you sign an agreement like this is for this way, to buy this equipment for the cancer patients or whatever. It should be the same thing for the taxes.
That would be cool.
It would be. So I don't know if it's real or true or not. I didn't fact check it, but I read that prior to 1913, the American people were allowed to veto government spending, and the government had to ask the American people before they could spend the money that they had collected or something, the money that they had. And that's why the government stayed small in 1913. That went away. And then government spending just went crazy, and they started building a larger and larger. Obviously, we had the wars and taxes came into effect at that point, remember? And they were like, this is only going to happen for a couple years, guys. Like, taxes aren't permanent.
You know, but we got interstates.
Crazy times.
Okay? So I don't know how true that is. We got what?
We got the interstates. We wouldn't have had interstates without that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to take your RV and drive up.
I will say that the Orlando I-4 corridor has become much more of a breeze to drive on since they have completed that. It really is. It took over a decade, but it's finally done. So kudos to them.
I get to go drive that again today. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I had to head down to Orlando. All right, let's get back to some real estate.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. So we talked about Go ahead. Do you have something?
Well, I was gonna say I do only have 20 minutes that can be here because I have to get on the road. But I can show these dashboards whenever you guys want.
Sure. Let's do that instead. Yeah, because they can just go watch the carrot. They can click that QR code and go watch it for all the tidbits from there. Wow! How do we see it on one screen?
Hold on, I got this. There it is. All right, guys. So
what we got?
Here at Investor Views, we have redone literally every dashboard that we have inside of our product and added new ones. So I'm going to kind of run through this. So this is what's called the My Dashboard. This is for a person, which shows their cumulative data for all the teams that they have access to. So they're able to kind of see how many overdue actions they have. So I've got 190 overdue follow-up actions.
You got to hop on those. Yeah.
You can see your opportunities by status. So I've got 201 opportunities to my name. 189 of them are in pursue. 189 of them would follow up with seller. So on and so forth. I got my scorecard here. Great data for just me, right? Here's the new team dashboard. So it's broken up into 4 sections. So every user gets access to the team. And then managers and owners will get access to pipeline, employee scorecard, and activity. And then we got a link to the old dashboard over here. So if you want to go use our old dashboard, you can. Now, I'm in a team that has some weird data, so this will look better on normal teams. But the cool thing about this home is it's completely customizable. So I'm going to come back to it. But we've got it broken up into categories, right? So here's actions. I can see who's got the most overdue actions. I can see what type of actions they are that are overdue. Who's got the most actions due today? Look at actions completed this week versus last week. I can see who's doing what with their actions here in the graph. I can look at opportunities. So how many do I have? How many unqualified? How many qualified? The conversion of that. Opportunities by owner. Opportunities by status. I love this new Sunburst chart. It's like makes me so happy.
It's a different way of seeing the data. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it gives you a really good kind of clean insight, and we use it in a lot of different areas. You'll see it kind of keep popping up.
It looks like my LASIK eyeball picture.
Yeah, I know. It does.
Groups. So we now have a section for groups, and so every single group will have its own tile in here, and so it's going to give you an understanding of how many overdue actions, due today actions, not owned opportunities, owned opportunities in each group, who owns them. What's the pipeline of those, the touches in those groups. So you can see all of that data for every single group that you have inside your system. Campaigns, same data. So just the ability to have a quick understanding. This is, again, team-wide. So we're not showing any kind of important conversion data, just a good understanding of like who's got what in each group, each campaign, excuse me. Sequences. We now have some dashboards on sequences, how many opportunities in a sequence, your sequences started and completed, and then sequence effectiveness. So how many sequences generate an inbound seller response? And you'll actually see a list of what those sequences are here in the bottom. Yeah. And then dead opportunities. We have one graph inside of our system. So this is just giving you data for this week and last week of how many you're marking as dead. So the cool thing about this home dashboard is, like, if you like, let's say I like this tile and I want this tile and I want this tile, you can add them all into your home dashboard.
Oh, yeah.
So you get to come in here.
You can just like select the box.
And then be like, all right.
Yeah.
That's what I want for my home dashboard.
I like that.
Pretty exciting.
That's nice.
Very cool.
Pipeline is pretty basic right now, but it's about conversion of unqualified to qualified, qualified under contract. We're going to be entering a offer and contract sprint here in a couple of weeks, and so a lot more data will be added related to contracts and offers and potential profit and stuff like that to this section for the pipeline. But for now, it's got some good conversion data. The employee scorecard has been redone to be faster, and it includes a lot more data points. So we have leads converted to opportunities, average days to qualification, created to qualified conversion, average days qualified to contract, average days created to contract, qualified to contract conversion, contract to close, created to closed, and then contract to close conversion. So you will be able to see on a specific employee, like, what their contract to close conversion is. So they might be able to get 30 contracts in a quarter, but if only 10% of them are closing, then you need to have a conversation with that person. We redid our activity. This has been a long time request. We split it up into 2 sections. You can see just completed actions and outbound communication, and you can filter by employee. So this just gives you, like, people have always wanted to use this as like, is somebody doing something today? Now you can actually get some really good insight of that and say, all right, John, did he do anything today? He did 35 completed actions, but the last one of those was January 14th. So some good data there. All right. Campaigns. So Campaigns has a brand new homepage.
Wow,
tells you how many opportunities are in Campaigns. It gives you a breakdown of your costs this month, costs this quarter, costs this year, an entire log of your costs. The list has been redone as well. So this now also has some of the similar data that's in the employee scorecard. A lot more cost per conversations all through here. Totals. Insights is a brand new section. So top campaigns by campaign profit. It's going to give you this month, last month. It's going to show you the change. What the one on the top is the best performing one. Obviously, the data here is weird. You
Does
can
it
change
go by
this to
marketing channel?
Hold on, sir. Month, quarter, year. Month, quarter, year. And then top campaigns by average deal size. Top campaigns by cost per deal, with lowest cost per deal being the best. Shortest campaigns by time to contract, created date to contract date. So 4 kind of key KPIs that we just wanted to call out and show you the stats. When you click into any one of these campaigns, it also has a new dashboard. So in here, it's giving you a breakdown of unqualified, qualified, actions, dead opportunities, opportunities by status, and your costs all in one place for that. And then, yes, Papa P, we have introduced a new KPI reporting functionality for our premium customers called Channels. Channels let you take campaigns and sum them up. So you can create a channel for Google Ads, for direct mail, and then you basically go into a campaign and you say, this campaign here needs to be wrong section. Wait, hold on. I haven't even tested this. I think you do it from the list. Right here, add to channel. So I can say I want this to be in my other sources and save. And so now that data from that campaign will be summed up into a channel. And so you'll be able to see summarized. And all the things I just went through, the whole list here is now summed up per channel. You got the same insights per channel. You got the same home dashboard per channel. And when you click into a channel, you see the same unique dashboard. So, woo!
That looks awesome.
I dig it. When's it getting released?
Yeah, it went to QA quality assurance today. I just pushed a couple hours to our stage environment. So Pat, our QA amazing man, is on undertaking, going through everything and checking everything. And so it should be going to prod next week.
Cool.
So it includes all the dashboards I just went through, and I think something like 20 bug fixes. So
damn.
Could be a great release. And we're already working on transactions. You can get a sneak peek of it. We redid this. So our transactions dashboard here looks a little bit better, and we're just cleaning up some of our transaction stuff, and then we're getting straight into offers and contracts. So we'll actually be completely redoing our contract process. So currently we have to use FormStack, which then pushes to DocuSign. We will take away the need for anybody to have any of those, and we will build it all in-house. So you'll be able to upload your contracts inside of IF3 and do it all inside the platform. It's going to be pretty cool.
Pretty cool, dude. Pretty cool. People need to be signing up.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That is right.
All right. I can't wait for that release to come.
No, you've been waiting for channels for like a year and a half.
I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to clean up that fucking smartphone integration.
Oh,
yeah, that's horrible, dude. Like, it's an infinite scroll of phone numbers. I don't even own some of those phone numbers, where I have to assign phone numbers to the agent for them to be tracked on the. Wow, I mean, not as of a month. It's probably been a month since I tried doing it.
Like when you go in, you're talking about the assignment, right?
Yeah, we'll talk offline. We don't need to be on there talking about intricacies. But I mean, I tried doing it. I was just like, bro, I can't even, like, my scorecard's not accurate. I was like, bro,
have you integrated externally so you can send smartphone text through the platform?
I don't do that.
See, that's your problem. I don't.
There was a time where I was InvestorFuse's #1 user, and John would make sure any update was done with my software because he was like, bro, we want to make sure we're operating key. Now, man, I'm like last fiddle. I don't even know about things anymore. I feel like I'm on the outside.
Read them when they pop up inside of Intercom. We've got too many other things to talk about.
I used to be somebody. I used to be a contender. Marlon Brando and Streetcar Named Desire.
I was gonna say it's not Godfather, but it sounded like a Marlon Brando. Or I know the quote, but I'm not sure where it's. I wasn't sure where it's from.
Streetcar Named Desire, classic movie.
School movie.
It was a good movie. Not as good as Guys and Dolls, but still a very good movie.
Okay, movie in film school.
Yeah, those are. I gotta introduce my kids to those. Anyways, guys, I know John's got to go. We could be hopping off here. That was about it. I was gonna talk about all the other political stuff at the end, but we've already talked about it. That was going to be my weekly update, but we had kind of got into it. I do go see Georgia this weekend, so we could talk more about that. I'm very concerned about this park. Very interesting. If you follow me on Instagram,
the one you got under contract?
Yeah, the one I got under contract. The realtor could be in some trouble. Obviously, I'm not one to be upset about anything. I'll just let her know that she needs to take it out of her offering. But they advertised that you could connect to sewer for 60, 80K, which as a mobile home park, like, that's a very big thing to get off of septic systems. It increases the value and reduces your cap rate so you could get more value for it. And they said 60, 80K. They also said it was 3K to connect to water. And the problem is, as an agent, you have to verify what you advertise, even if the seller tells you that this is it. Because if you advertise it, the one on the hook is going to be you and your brokerage. So, like, whatever. And I'm calling the city, and the guy's like, it's 20K to tap in to the system for water to tap in to get a 4-inch tap in meter on a master meter, and then I do separate meters on every one myself and bill back. But no, there is no sewer line anywhere on that road, and connecting to sewer is never going to be planned. And that's a problem for me. And it's more about the fact that you said that it was possible.
Yeah.
And then I say to myself, if you're telling me this about this, it's not true.
You start to plan your return on investment.
Well, yes, but I was budgeting in.
Yeah,
connecting, and and I had a hefty amount, like, because I had her amount, but I also am very knowledgeable because I listen to a lot of podcasts and read a lot of articles. So I had budgeted $500,000, about 8K per pad. There's 64 pads, so I was like, okay, 80K would be cool. I don't see how realistic that is. And again, it's not the dollar amount that bothers me; it's the fact that you advertise that it's possible, and it's not. And again, I'm not upset with the realtor. I'm not upset that they put that in there. But all I'm saying is, if you lie about the little things,
What else are you lying about?
What else is it that I don't know that now I need to be on my tiptoes for? And you know that if you follow me on Instagram last week when I went up there with my son, we just drove around without them knowing that we were checking it out before I signed. The counts weren't adding up. So that's why I already requested I want titles. The counts, how many units he's claiming is on there and how many units he's claiming he's collecting rent from. I got a burnt out unit, 2 boarded up units that he's claiming he's collecting rent from. Who the fuck's paying rent on those? Now, again, I'm sure the excuse is going to be, well, that's an old rent roll. Okay. Well, bro, if that's an old rent roll, why the fuck was it in there when I made the offer that when I asked you for a rent roll, that's what you effing sent me? Because that dollar amount of a park making $20K a month that's what I'm running my numbers off of. So all of this leads, I'm not a retrader. But.
What? A retrader?
Where you renegotiate the price
after
you've signed an agreement. But I felt that it was still interesting enough for me to move forward and then determine how much money all of these lies were going to add up to, and then let them know what my new price would be. Because I do like the park and I like the market. I've been trying to get into that part of Georgia for a while. So we'll see. So that's what I'm going up to do. I have my Remarkable pad. I've already uploaded a PDF with lot numbers, and I have my notes that I'm going to, so I'm ready to go with my camera, and I'll be there. And my job is to figure out how shitty the units are, and then to come up with a dollar amount for that, and then to be like, brother, this is not what you advertise.
Very fun.
And if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't.
I mean, you're learning so much through every process. Like, I think that's, through the journey of listening and watching you do this, like, that's the thing that, like, I think anybody should take away. And if you haven't, like, just go watch all of our episodes, and you can hear literally Brandon's journey of owning parks, and like his knowledge from like getting his first one and not knowing much to his point now, like, is phenomenal. And like anybody should take that away and say being consistent, learning, and
with the failures.
True. Right. Just
how about the guy who fucking said I was annoying and unfollowed me because I was driving around and said I wasn't buying anything because I was driving around Arkansas visiting parks, and he was like, "Are you buying anything?" Like, and I was like, "Bro, I'm looking at him." He's like, "Yeah, right." And he goes, "Bro, you're annoying." And he's like, "I'm unfollowing you." And I'm like, "Okay, this is what it looks like to find a park, bro. What do you think they magically like
tag him on every single one that you get moving forward?"
Just like, yeah, I forget. I'd have to.
You're like 90 years old. Just
keep going. Just send him little postcards. I have AI just write out. Yeah, I have Investor Fuse put him in as a lead and just on a follow-up sequence. Every time a closing happens, he gets a postcard.
Yeah. We could set that up with external sending. No problem. I got you.
Who's annoying now, bro? Anyway, I'll let you guys know about that next week.
Awesome. Your daughter enjoyed the dance? Oh no.
She did. She did. But she went with a group of friends, and the boy that was supposed to take her did not take her because obviously, high school drama and all this stuff. But she ended up seeing the boy there. And, she was very happy, once she saw him in that environment, with his friends and like, how he acted, she was very happy. So she learned a little something about how high school boys, and we were all there, how high school boys can be. So she was very happy because she felt like if she would have went with him, she wouldn't have had as much fun as she did. He probably would have ruined the night. And I was very happy to see that growth from my daughter, but she had a blast. It was just a little different.
She
I'm still a hero.
About this homecoming dance to learn. Like, buy your tickets on time.
Yeah, and, still the hero, bro. Still save the freaking day. Save the day. That's all that matters.
There you go.
Anyway, guys.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you all next week. Like and subscribe.
Lock and load.